Oh yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Ladies of Lore. I'm your Dungeon Master Kayla. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us after our little bit of a break. It's good to see you all, and I'm glad you're here. Um, this is our D&D 5e actual play where our adventurers explore a homebrewed version of life after death as they trek through my version of the Nine Hells. We are going to go around and introduce our players and their characters. Let's start with Emily. Uh, you can kind of take the lead.
All right. Hi, I'm Emily. You can find me pretty much everywhere on socials at hilariously underscore Emily. And I play Dahlia, our changeling trickster cleric. And I'll pass it over to Reese.
Hi, I'm Reese. I am playing Umbriel, and you guys could follow me just about everywhere as Reese Cup. And I'm going to pass it off to Allie.
I am Allie. You can find me everywhere at Allie underscore Mar underscore and romance writer. And I also play D&D with the Emerald Collective. And I will pass it off to Erin.
Hello, I am Erin or Erin My Laundry. You can find me everywhere at Erin My Laundry. I am going to play Lova, the Goliath Barbarian, and I will pass it to Redacted.
Hey, I'll be playing Kit today, the sorcerer living doll. You could find me on Instagram at everything is redacted. And that's all I have. I'm gonna popcorn it to Tiff.
Hi, I'm Tiff. You can find me everywhere at Spirits Fae Portal and also for all the socials for the Ladies of Lore. And I'm playing Maniae, the warlock who is a homebrewed race by Starlight Heckle, known as a Fosser. And then we're going to move into some announcements and then do a really awesome recap. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we have a pretty cool little image at the bottom of our layovers over here from the Modern Artifice. It's their logo with a cute little code called the Ladies of Lore 10. If you go to modernartifice.com and look at some really cool dice and some pride shirts and like a cute little card game called Sports Ball, you can get everything there for 10% off if you use our code. And we have linked it in our chat. Now it's Emily's turn.
All right. Don't have it open. 1 second. I'm so
It's okay, while she's doing that, did you know that they have really cool liquid core dice and also dice that looks like this? Did you know they make accessories for TTRPGs? Look at this stuff. I'm gonna open it and there's gonna be dice.
Look at this stuff.
Okay, I got it.
Sweet.
It's so neat.
So sorry. All right, so last session we began in combat against the shadow versions of ourselves. Many of us fight our doppelgangers straight away while Kit decides to befriend hers. A white dragon appears and Dahlia gets taken out by Shadow Mari. Dahlia dissolves into dust but appears back at the circus where the Divine family waits and has regained all her memories. Back in the fight, Manya reminds everyone to take their bean to escape if needed. Lova takes her bean and gets transported with the egg she's carrying to the circus. She joins Dahlia at a table with a strange blindfolded woman with tarot cards, who asks them if they belong in heaven or hell and offers to help them find out. Mari traps all the shadow people in a wall of wind. Manya tells everyone to take the bean and run for the battery. Umbriel takes the bean and enters the circus. Everybody else runs to the battery and argues over taking the shadow version of Kit with them. Then they all grab their battery together and take the bean. Mari, Manya, and Kit arrive at the carnival, and that's where we left off.
Can you hear me? Excellent. All right. So we are going to kind of pick right back up in the throw of things. Um, everyone feels this gut wrenching feeling of like when you speed down a highway and you can see everything kind of moving fast past you, but you're stuck in stationary.
Hey, 1 second. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you. You're just echoing really badly, and I need to fix it.
Okay, not a problem. Hold, please. Tech stuff.
I think it's on your end. I'm gonna come down
If
to you.
you mute the VOD Ninja site, it won't echo for you.
Did I already do it?
Not you.
Oh.
Whoever's getting the echo.
Okay. Try talking. I'm sorry, baby. Yeah.
It's me.
Okay, you're good. Go on. I'm so sorry.
Good to go?
Mm-hmm.
Slam man. Thanks, everybody. So, the feeling of that motion of being stuck in your seat and seeing everything go past a window incredibly fast, this kind of drop feeling, like when you have a ride on an elevator and it kind of lurches. And then you are suspended amongst a whole network of ropes. You can see above you there are a series of trapeze artists that are swinging back and forth. It's incredibly gruesome. These trapeze artists are 90% of the way there. They are missing their bottom halves of their bodies. It looks like they were bisected in half. So they are swinging, and as they swing, they transfer over to the other set of poles and are hanging off of each other, forearm and forearm, while one is hanging on to the brace. There's trigger warning for folks. There's gore in this upcoming piece. So just so you know. As he begins to swing over, you can see that there are organs and stuff still sitting in the chest cavity as he's overhead. And you guys are kind of sitting in the rope net basket portion underneath the trapeze in the event that there were to be a fall or something like that in the safety. You can see up the net is kind of suspending you guys at the floor of where a bunch of tables are seated and above a live orchestra. The music continues to play, and you can see off to the center of the dance floor there are people that are spiraling and spinning around arm in arm. You can see that they are holding hands, and as the dance continues, the orchestra begins to do a higher swell, and you can see all manner of different animals begin to rush in, but with Verena leading them. In this like big kind of circusy type display. So you have a series of different tigers that are there. And then you also have those big flesh puppy beasts following suit. And as she walks in, they trail behind her, and she does one little like round around the outside of this gigantic hall. And you can see that she is preparing for some sort of event. As you guys kind of right yourselves from this netting, you are able to see Dahlia is in the far off, kind of, I'd say towards the left-hand side in the back a little bit more from where you guys are. There's a whole dance floor in between you guys, but you can just see her sitting in a table and standing out kind of behind the background. Everything else here looks to be very fancy party attire. Dahlia's still covered in guck and muck and mire from her battles and stuff like that. But you can see she is sitting at a small circular table with a woman who is just sitting amongst the crowd blindfolded, and Lova is there as well with the egg next to her.
Do we recognize that it's Dahlia? She kind of looks a little bit different than last time we saw her.
Correct. Her skin is incredibly white. Her hair is colorless. Her pupils do not exist. She is... Describe the ways in which Dahlia looks for me, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so yeah, Dahlia, kind of like the wig I'm wearing, just straight bob of white hair, white skin, pupilless eyes, but still wearing the black lip, dark eyes, and same outfit she had before, the black crop top and mini skirt, and just white skin. But you can see now, where before she didn't have any scars, she has a lot of scars on her arm and on her stomach and some on her legs.
She sits, a little bit of blood and spatter on her. Um, I think that it probably looks remarkably jarring in comparison to how it would have looked against her red, beautiful tones. Um, Against the stark white, it is very obvious that she is covered in blood. So,
Amazing.
what would you guys like to do? There's dancing. It seems that there's food out. You can see the royal family is off on a table kind of further back from where Dahlia is. This long kind of head of the hallway type, where the entire royal family has screens that look like it was playing through the eyes of one of you. You can see, as you look at the screens, there are visions of some of the stuff that you're seeing around you. And it does that thing like when you open up a portal or a video inside of your computer and you can see the multiple versions of yourself.
Did we appear with like the battery thing, like Manya, Kit, and I when we got here?
Mm-hmm. You can see the tube, this light bulb type fixture in your hand, is sitting in the suspended kind of rope next to you. It does look like it could potentially fall through, so you guys are quick to kind of put your hand on it as soon as you recognize and make your bearings.
I guess we go give this back.
Are we just all three holding it together? Like
We're
just
holding hands, actually.
we're one
Like,
hand on the
around it.
battery, one hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just holding hands because we couldn't decide who the winner was.
I mean, from what I recall, they didn't say there would be one winner. It wasn't like a condition that we all had to lose. Like, this isn't a zero-sum game.
Oh, okay, so I'll just hold it then.
Well, let's go.
There's a whole dance floor.
There's a whole dance
A
floor
whole
of people
dance
that are
floor, like-
actively in the middle of doing like big twirls with hand in hand and very courtly like dancing.
Do they look happy to be doing that?
Roll a perception check.
Sure, I can do that.
Can I help her?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. That gives
Is that then?
It gives you advantage.
Ooh, and I have a +6 to it. First roll.
First roll since
18?
we've been back. Woohoo!
Second roll 17. So I'll take the 18.
18. Okay. It looks like a mixed bag. Some people seem to actually look like they are enjoying themselves, and you're not quite sure if it is like plastered smiles or if they are genuine, but you can see some people seem to be happy to be there. Other folks are looking a little distressed. Some people seem to be freaked out by the fact that there are beasts in the room. I would say it's a mixed bag. People are either happy to be here or like look like they are uncomfortable and attending a party because of happenstance and have to.
I'd like to say we're walking over. Would you agree, Manya, Kit?
Yeah, she's
You guys
like
push through.
she's like walking like ew. Oh, disgusting. Don't touch me.
You make pauses in between the kind of quick exchanges that are happening on the dance floor and skirt towards the outside portion and make your way closer and towards Dahlia and Lova here. You can see that they are in the middle.
Oh, we were going to the family.
To be clear, we're going to the family. We got to turn this thing in.
You're going straight to them?
We have a battery to give over.
Okay, cool.
Unless,
Understood.
actually, that is a good point. That totally came to Mari from, herself and not from this weird god figure that we can kind of hear narrating our lives sometimes. Can we all hand it in together if we go grab them?
I think we should try.
We could try whatever.
It was the plan, wasn't it?
No. But we could go get them.
Then I guess we do in fact walk over towards them.
Okay. You guys make your way towards the table, and you can see that they are sitting there with a woman, clad in kind of this like almost gray to lilac type long drapery. They have a blindfold over their eyes that is tied tightly to the back of their head. And you can see that there are multiple like different crystals arranged here on this table, and she does have a stack of like a tarot type deck that is sitting on the table as well. As you guys approach, and she said, "Glad to see you all." Immediately as soon as you all step forward.
Hate to be rude, but I totally am. Mari kind of looks right over her towards the rest of the party and basically says, "All right, get on up. We've got to go turn this thing in."
Oh, congratulations, you guys won.
Well, we haven't returned it yet. So if we all go together, no reason some of us have to lose.
I thought
Okay.
it was whoever got there first. We didn't get there at all.
Mhm.
Well, they haven't seen us yet.
Yeah, they didn't say you had to get there at the location. They just said you had to get to it.
And here it is.
You just have to
All
touch the
right.
battery. Touch it.
It's funny because I assume I lift it up, but then like we're all holding it, so I just lift everybody's hands up, like hurrah!
She's slightly shorter than everyone, so she like did a little dangle.
Everyone helped. This
I'll
is-
walk with you, but I'm not gonna try to trick my goddess. I know better than that.
It's not a trick. Everyone helped.
I would not say that, but whatever you want to say.
Hey, I helped.
Was I looking
I
at
rode
you?
Dolly like a skateboard at some point.
Thanks for that. I'm still bruised and covered in shit.
Was it like
that was
on
an
a rail? I hear
experience.
railing is important nowadays.
No, and unfortunately, no grinding took place.
Ah, that's what it's called.
Kickflip.
We
Are
did
we
an
all
ollie
going?
for the girls. Yeah, I'll touch the battery. Look, me too.
Okay.
And I guess we walk over like some sort of 10-legged mangled centrifugal beast.
Nobody lets go of it. You're all holding on to it to
We're
to bring it up.
starfishing, but you
Oh,
know,
we're
in a completely separate
starfish.
connotation than the word originally suggests.
Yeah, I have not
Understood.
once let go of this battery.
Yeah,
Okay.
neither have I.
Starfishing on the dance floor.
I'm sorry, Dahlia, but Monty and I've kind of been
That's-
holding hands for like
That's a wild
15 minutes at this point.
Her
She
hands are
clocks
a
it.
little
No.
clammy.
So you approach and you can hear conversation. I would like everyone to roll me a perception check and just tell me if you didn't get above a 13, you don't hear it. So just go for it. Go for the gold. I hope you win. If you
What a
don't,
waste of a nat 20. That's a 26.
nice. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Haha, 13 exactly.
Hell
Nice.
yeah.
22.
22. Okay. Kit.
What is it, Aaron?
I got a 12.
I got 13 exactly.
Nice.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Baker's
Umbria.
dozen.
Kit and Umbriel, holding on to this battery, you are kind of at the tail end of this, and you can see as you guys are trying to maneuver around through this crowd of people. Once you get up to the actual royals table, it's not so much of an issue because that is sanctioned off. There's not too many people over there. But in the process of moving from this one smaller table through an entire type of ballroom setting, as a 10-legged centipede kind of thing going on here. It is a little difficult for you guys. And you do bump into someone and knock somebody over in the
Listen,
middle of
we're
their
a team.
dance.
We're getting through this together.
So, I presume that you just continue along. Is
Wait,
that
who did
correct?
we who did
Absolutely.
we knock over though?
Somebody
Does it
dancing.
matter?
Somebody dancing? But
Mhm.
like, what do they look like?
Okay. Let's do it. They look like maybe a 40 to 50-year-old woman.
Okay, I'm done. We can walk away. I'm so sorry. Go on. Continue. I want to hear about her. I love you.
I love you too. She's not important. So you continue.
Not important. Never met anybody not important before.
All right, doctor.
So you continue along and you see, God, she has a whole story. If you're out there and you write me a story about that woman,
The one that got
give you-
away.
The one
I'll
that
give
got
you
away.
inspiration.
Are you talking like directly to me? Because it feels like you're talking directly to me.
If you want inspiration, Allie, you go for it, girl.
Oh yeah, give us fan art of us starfishing all over
I
her.
cannot fan art.
No.
No. I have one
No, not
specific
starfish.
niche of fandom that I can be a part of, and it has nothing to do with drawing.
Emily is going to draw the starfish.
She's at a royal ball in hell, and she just got checked by some douchebag souls that are on the way to talk to the royal family. So it just writes itself. I'm saying. You guys continue along, and as you bump into her, you see she kind of does a backwards like tumble, and then slips on and scoots on her butt. Kit, she looks at you mad. She looks mad as shit. But you guys continue to pull along, and
At me?
oh yeah, because you two are the ones in the back, so you were the last two that she sees as she's watching you guys skate along with that whack ass not hearing nothing.
Listen, you're in hell. Getting bumped cannot be the worst thing. It can't even be on the top 10 worst things that's ever happened to you. We're moving
It's real.
That
day.
We're moving on. So you're at a royal ball, right? Like, grow up. Stop crying.
Grow up. I literally had to fight my worst demons and watch one half of me kill one of my potential new friends.
Right.
You'll get over this.
Right, eat it. So So you guys make it up to the royal family, and those of you who rolled higher than a 13, you are able to overhear a little piece of conversation. You hear Azeroth vehemently arguing that he was the winner. It was my champion above all else. Everyone knows that she was there first. She waited. She didn't touch. She waited. She waited like a good person would, because she's a good person. Just like I've said, better than anyone else here. She waited for your champions, and she was successful. And you hear Aerith say, they all did it together. Verena is like, that's not true. The only person who did any damage was mine and,
you know.
to which
I was traded.
To which Reshi was like, that absolutely could not be true.
Oh, I don't want to agree with him.
The only person who did any real work in that was the one that I picked. You can hear that Esmeralda is in the back, like, I thought mine did good too. I mean, I don't see why it's a problem. And Ryu was like, mine absolutely did a kickflip. They did an ollie for the girls. You can't tell me that's not a win. No one else improvised any other person for battle. Not a single person. But mine did.
Can we slam the battery down?
Don't slam it, but yeah.
You can slam it. Mari would slam with you.
Are you sure?
We will
gonna break it?
we will gently place the battery down, but Mari and Mania both slam their hand down. Like, are you guys
The
kidding
other
us?
hand, you know,
Their
like,
other hand.
twin raging right now.
Yeah.
Aerith stands up and says, "It doesn't matter really, because it's here, right? That's what you wanted." And she looks at Reshi, and he kind of rubs his eyes a little bit before being like, "So, who do you really want to argue wins? I'm not going to go back and forth on this." And he looks to her to make the decision. And Aerith mulls it over for a moment. And she says, "I do believe the first one there was Azeroth's, but they all brought it here." And Verena gets absolutely aggressive, kicks her chair over, and says, "This is bullshit. I cannot believe that you're gonna sit here and try some teamwork type style bullshit. Like, we're all adults here. They can handle a loss." To which Azeroth goes, "It's just a baby." And
Actually, she knows where babies come from. She's not the baby anymore.
he cuts his eyes at you. Kit, I would say the reason that you rolled low on perception and don't catch that right away is because as you approach, you see also on the screens that are here, it's your own vision that is, as you're looking around at stuff, you can see this weird type of, as if it's coming directly from your own eyesight. You're having this kind of trippy parallel that's happening off to the right-hand side for you.
Oh yeah, she's a little dizzy.
Yeah. And Azeroth just looks at his dad and says, "It doesn't matter because Verena and I already talked. I know that she wants to win, and that's just besides the point. But we've already discussed what's going to happen if either of our champions won. And I think you know what's going to happen if either of your champion wins and my champion wins or Ryu's champion wins. It doesn't matter. The task is still the same, Dad."
Wasn't the task to bring this here?
We've brought it.
I think roll a persuasion check real quick.
Which one?
Mari, because you spoke first.
I was not really trying to be I guess I was. That's a 17.
Nice. Okay.
I was like, I was trying to be sarcastic as shit, but I guess I was persuasive. Allie is sarcastic as shit.
You can be persuasive in lots of ways, and sometimes sarcasm does get it across genuinely enough. You see that Reshi cuts his eyes at you, but then, like, begins to nod in your direction at the same time, so it's almost like a scolding agreement before he looks back and he's like, "But they don't know that they have the opportunity as a whole. I don't think that they really understood the gravity. We're just going to grant that to all of them." And then he looks over at Aerith, to which Aerith kind of does a small, very nonchalant, demure, little bit of a shrug. And he says, "To all of them?" And she says, "I don't know what you expected from me. There was no clause that said they couldn't all win."
That's true.
In the whole time, this is out of character. The whole time!
This is what we said.
And he's like, "Dear, you know I hate when you are tallying about the nuances of things in that matter." And she's like, "You love to tally about the nuances. Don't start." He looks at her, mad at first, and then his gaze kind of softens. And you see he does this, like, kind of coy smile. Says, "Look, if they all have the opportunity, then they can all travel together. If they can all travel together, then the odds increase. If the odds increase..." "Azeroth, how well do the odds increase?" And Azeroth says, "At least by..." And he counts how many people are there, and he's like, "tenfold, Dad. And he's like, I don't think that math is correct, son. He's like, no, it is. Hold on. And he starts to kind of count on his fingers. And Reshi's like, this is agreeable for me, fine. And Aerith says, so then you all will continue on, yes? At an opportunity to do it all again. And to live your life a second time.
What?
What?
Your Majesty, are you saying we can return to life again?
Well, yes. I mean, there's trials, of course. No one just gives you, grants you the opportunity to return.
Well, we just did a trial.
You just did an errand.
What's the difference? That was hard.
The difference is that you won't have our assistance next time.
We didn't have theirs. I look at the others. We didn't, actually have their assistance this time, right? Not really.
I mean, you had a jelly bean. It brought you back here. It was kind of assistance.
I literally missed the session where we got boons and never got one. So the answer for Madi might be yes, but for Allie, it's no.
My goddess always helps me. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm always helped.
I don't think
Hashtag
Lova. I don't think
Hashtag
Lova's
blessed.
clever enough to understand that a magic jelly bean, is actually helpful.
I think I yelled at my boon.
I think I yelled at my man.
Madi's kind of a little wide-eyed, like the wide shaking eye you'd see if an anime zoomed in. Life from where we left it?
No.
Or a new
Life.
life now?
Again. Something new. Why return to the old dreary? You don't know what awaits you out there. Plus, anybody you miss is gone. More than likely. If I have anything to do with it. So.
Wait, like babies? We're gonna turn into babies?
No. You will turn into others. With the knowledge that you have now. That if you fuck it all up a second time, you'll be seeing us anyway.
I don't like this.
Your Majesty, why are things different than how we left it? Why is everyone gone?
Oh. Okay. What happens now is really going to be kind of like a weird description, lucid kind of thing. You are all transcended to a liminal space away from this party where the entirety of the room goes completely white. And you can see that she, like almost like a movie projector screen, begins to show you a end of all things that happens. You can see the continent of Solemnly from like a bird's eye view. And you can see as a crater forms in this centermost part of the landmass and begins to break all of the terra mass apart. As you are looking, you see it's almost like a small blue dome at first. And then it begins to be this gigantic blue beam of light that shoots directly up into the heavens, the void. You're not entirely sure who you're looking at here. What you see, though, is inside of this, a singular person wrapped around the legs of another person, holding onto them for dear life. You can see Reshi holding onto the legs of Aerith for a moment, as the entirety of the rock around them, Super Saiyan style, just explodes away, leaving nothing behind. You can see that there are a series of clouds that are splitting, almost like the sky itself begins to crack into a void and rip apart. The landmass that is around them, as it starts to pull away like sand out of an hourglass in slow motion, you can see that there are these huge portals that are opening up around them 360 in every direction, almost like a black hole swallowing in on itself. And then you just hear Aerith say, very matter of factly, "Oh, you don't know about the calamity?" Everything was gone. And now it isn't. And so since it isn't, there's opportunity.
I'd like to rage.
Yeah.
I think whatever Lova was, I think Lova at this point was like just holding on to the mass of hands that were holding the battery. And I think she like instantly, like as this is happening, she grabs Miranda, the handle, and just like grips her tightly, almost to you can almost hear like splintering in the wood.
Mhm.
And I think she's gonna take one full step towards the family in front of everybody.
You step, and in this white space and this expanse, you feel as you step out past in this like almost aggressive type stance, the air beneath your feet become slow like pudding.
Yeah.
Like you can't really get traction to where you're trying to go. And you can feel your rage. You can feel the boiling. Your emotions are still there, but your body is not allowing you to express it in a way that feels normal. You can't go anywhere. And you're watching this movie screen as it plays this continual, horrifying, world ending, kind of just grim. Like it's black and white almost. It feels like the only color in it is very monochromatic. The only color in it is this weird like twilight blue purple color of this dome. Um, and you can see inside of it just the two of them over and over again holding on to each other as the entirety of it distorts, rips, and inverts itself.
Hate that.
Mm-hmm. Uh, and she said, "It's not all bad." And then you watch the video of this horrifying event kind of fast forward, it looks like, and that crater still exists. And then you watch from this bird's eye view as the entirety of the crater begins to resume with life and foliage and growth and greenery, and flying creatures begin to re-inhibit the skies. And you see a series of chunks of the earth that were blown out seem to be caught in some sort of gravitational pull, and the entirety of the world, as you're looking down on this crater of Solemnly, looks to be a series of floating islands. And she says, "You can make yourself anew. I know it doesn't take away the hurt that has happened to you already. But do you guys think that you are perfect? Do you think you are devoid of folly? I'm offering you a bigger chance here. More than just mortal life. That's short, fair lived. Not, I don't mean to downplay your existence, but it's not very worthwhile. But you have an opportunity to correct your behaviors and move to a newer, brighter future, if you so choose it. Isn't that not what you want?"
It's not a choice. He didn't give us a choice. There's no
Ah,
choice.
that is incorrect. I've done nothing but give choices. You had an opportunity when you first arrived to stay or go lower. You were chosen as a choice picked from the hands of someone royal.
Yeah, and I have the opportunity to eat a slice of pie or a piece of shit. That's not really a choice.
Not? And you feel. Roll a constitution check.
Hell yeah, brother! All right, hold on.
You can roll it with advantage, I believe, right? Because Plodge, with being
Uh,
evil 10, does that work for your barb?
I don't know.
Strength checks definitely, but I don't know about.
I think it's just strength and maybe dex. I don't think it's con.
Maybe dex. Okay.
I only
Just
rolled an
wanted to
8.
make sure. Okay. You feel your tongue fat in your mouth. With the when you have smelled garbage and the bile packs up in your throat and you feel that like, oh, I might vom kind of sensation.
Love it.
It is foul. This smell that hits your nose and in the back of your throat, and you just feel that same type of pudding feeling that you were already in your mouth as you kind of palate around. And she says,
amazing.
"Is that what you want? You want a chance to eat pie like you deserve it? Eat up." And you can feel the viscosity
Big,
of
just put like
Yeah.
shit in your mouth.
Yeah.
yeah, shit basically. It's like
Okay.
just sludging down your throat. She
Pink
says,
unlocked.
and then she stops.
2 rages, 1 axe. Is
She's
that what the new video is?
2 rages, 1 axe.
2 rages, 1 axe. It's crazy.
Oh
It's
my
crazy.
god.
And then you get the taste of that same viscosity sticking around, but pleasant as it turns into some sort of pie filling.
I feel like I gotta like clear my own mouth out.
I
Yeah,
know. Oh
Wash your
god, that
mouth
was
out, you dirty dogs.
good DMing. It was too good.
Hydrate at home, everybody.
Anything for you,
Uh,
Aerith?
You taste the thick sweetness of cherry pie. It goes from being this horrific, like disgusting, biley taste to this mildly pleasant, still bad, still forced down your throat, still not an enjoyable experience. And she says, "Life is what you make of it, Lova. That's your fucking problem."
I think Lova's actually a little scared. And she's gonna like try it looks tail between my legs kind of situation. I don't know how to fuck with her, so I'm not gonna fuck with her at all.
Fantastic.
Good thing I didn't stab her.
She does not play. She does not play. She is a fierce character. You feel the sludge stop as soon as you back down. As soon as you yourself recognize that this is a moment of, I might be out of my element, the recognition is enough and your throat clears. As soon as your throat clears, she says, "Listen, I am here to help you. I'm here to help you. You think all of these people," and she holds her hand out towards the entirety of the crowd, and then that like is she like rebrings you essentially over top of the crowd, and all of the crowd that's dancing, she's like, "Do you think that these people want to do this forever? No. But it's a lot better than the other choices they have. You're a smart girl, Lova. Pick a smart choice." She drops you guys back in front of the family, and you feel that same rage, that step forward that you were going to take, break in front of you, like a shocked out of your system a little bit. And you can feel from whether your own means of backing down or from otherworldly means, you feel your grip on the axe slacken.
I think I dropped Miranda by accident.
Okay. The loud kind of ching 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 of metal onto the floor. You see as fuck shit. Sorry, I made a really goofy boy. You see as Ryu looks over and he's like, "Careful! That's my girlfriend!"
I just am like, sorry. And I'm gonna scoop her up and almost like tenderly like cradle her and just kind of like take a very meek
Emotional
step.
support axe.
Yeah, my emotional support axe.
Not to be insensitive, but doesn't the axe like it rough? Like, isn't that the whole point?
Yeah. I mean, not for nothing, but she doesn't like to be dropped. Nobody likes to be dropped.
Yeah.
I like to be
I
swung
mean,
around and beat up too, but I mean,
I'll
listen, not for nothing. Don't drop me.
I'll pin her down, but she's gonna know.
Yeah. Like, come on now. If you're gonna, we don't pick them up to drop them.
Yeah.
I prefer the same.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna like kind of meekly take a step. I think I'm actually gonna step behind Umbriel. Usually I'm the one that's like
So
standing
I have
in
loved
front.
that.
But I think it's like a like that is like my safe space. So I'm gonna take like a step behind.
Mhm. You can see this moment seems to have not affected the royal family at all. They are picking up the same conversation from that pause in time that they ever had. They're still going back and forth with like, do you think that they'll make it through? Verina's like, absolutely not. As soon as they hit the second layer, they're gonna burn, but that's fine. Uh, to which Reshi is like, well, we won't let them burn, but like, they're gonna struggle. And then Azeroth goes, isn't that the point? I really thought that was the point. And he's like, no, this is for your mother. And they just continue to bicker. In this moment, Aerith says, so what'll it be? And she looks over to you, Umbriel, and she says, you'd seen it, hadn't you? And you remember a moment in time looking into a crystal ball. Moments. Probably, it felt like just a second, but it felt like a lifetime. From a time that you had seen into the future, and the entire world had exploded into pieces. And you recall that this is the exact moment from your point of view of the calamity. Another life sounds so bad to you? You fought so desperately for your one before.
Yeah, but that was like my life then. I don't know what life this is.
And I think you have a flood of memories at this point in time, a series of kisses and embraces, a flirty moment sneaking away with someone that maybe you should not have been hanging out with, a couple of fleeting like talks in a garden, romance moving in together, the area of new love explored. You have a flash of falling desperately in love after getting away from this very emotionally neglectful place. And then having all of this, like, to be kissed and held and to make love and to experience the feeling of being wanted entirely, obsessively. It was good for a while. And you remember that feeling, but you also remember it kind of following up with the fear of having to check in all the time, the fear of what are they doing, where are they going, this counter codependence that seemed to wrap you two together. And you can just see visions of his face. He looks at you and he says, it's not what you think. And you can see flickers, flashes of another man in his bed. And you remember fully the moment that made you snap. And she said, it wasn't really your life, was it? It was both of your lives. What if he lived for you?
And can't I do that here?
Yeah, sure.
I think Lova's going to place a hand on your shoulder, squeeze it to Umbriel, just to let you know that, like, yeah, this is fucked up.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, that's yeah, we're not going back. No, fuck that.
Okay. Then I guess you can stay here and enjoy the show.
We're
You need
staying
a
here.
you need us to have a show, right? What if none of us play along?
Everybody plays along. And you see, and she snaps, and everybody starts to do like a synchronized dance on the floor at the exact same time, including all of the beasts that are there. All like you can see that the children are not affected, but Azeroth does begin to dance. And she said, and then she unsnaps her fingers, and she says, "I can make everyone do whatever it is that I want. I'm giving you a choice, and this is valuable. And you're looking at me like, how dare I?" And I just find it so funny that when a goddess graces you, you just still can't get it right. It's wild.
I
And
bought
he
you
said,
a gift.
"This is why we punish them." And said, "Don't you see? There's nobody here that's going to do our bidding for us. It's just..." And then she looks over at you. She says, "Can't you convince your friends to just play along?"
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I'll try, my goddess. I'll listen to whatever plan you have, whatever you say.
Wise.
Oh, that's so hot.
You see, Reshi looks over at you and says, "Don't you want a chance to stop the shadows? It's almost over now. The portals were ripped through. There's no returning them anywhere. You could wipe them all out."
How long have I been dead?
He says, "Oh, this is a hard one for you." And you watch
Mari
as
still is like super like giant eyes trembling. She hasn't said a single word.
you see it as he walks over to you. Do you accept touch?
At this point, I think I couldn't even move if I wanted to. So if he's putting a hand on my shoulder, that's fine.
He is putting an arm out like this and expecting you to walk with him.
Oh, I'll do it.
Okay.
I have to know. There's no question here. I have to know. I'm doing it.
He walks with you out of a doorway, like an archway that's close by to the leading table. And as you look out, you see multiple versions of the castle, almost like in different colors. Like if you went like Technicolor blue, purple, green, yellow, all kind of overlaid on each other, like a 3D style image. I don't know if you've ever seen where it's that
Yeah.
that red and blue kind of look to it. As you peer through, you can see versions of your castle all laid and stacked on top of each other like you were looking through glass, all rearranged in weird fucking warped ways. And he says, "Had you been on the mortal realm when you had perished, you would have been dead, let's say, closer to a millennia. But you perished in one of my favorite places." And you see as the slides of color kind of flash through, this one pulls and it is totally gray and blue tones. The entirety of the room is lit in blue. It's all dark blue underlighting and blue highlight, like almost like if everything had a blue neon underneath it. And he begins to walk you up the stairs of your own castle. And he says, "You were in the Shadowfell. I made this a little tricky, I believe, and for that I apologize. I'd never truly meant to have anybody stuck here for long periods of time, but you're one of my firsts. And, well, the experiments are just that. Trial and error." And you can see
She's like breathing faster at this point, just like
all of the stacked kind of plates of these different realms, as you can see them kind of like slinkying on top of each other, like a continuous like tube of light and shift. And you continue to walk up the steps, and it feels like you're going from different colors to different colors, but then it resumes back to the blue, like you're sitting in the realm. And you could just see it all. He's giving you this sort of true sight type thing to all of the different layers. Some realms are weaker than others. This is all just an illusion. Otherwise, I would have to be doing a whole lot of extra work here, but just to give you the gist. And he's like laughing, but it's like he's ruining your life. Like,
Yeah,
like,
no, good thing
like,
I'm already dead, because I'd be having a heart attack.
yeah, he's like doing it in a very showboaty style fashion and being like, look at how cool this is, but it's very much like you're
The movie
looking
has the high whine in the background, and everything's
like
at the
white
tilt.
noise.
Yeah.
You can see that as you're walking up these steps and feeling your heartbeat, and you are in this blue lighting, you can see the blue lighting of Caligo sitting in the chair, and then you see it flash to like a bisexual pink blue color. And then there is a woman sitting in that chair, and then you see it flash to a like green yellow color, and then there's a man that is sitting in that chair with these like really weird features, not like anything you have ever seen before. And then it switches again, and you can just see that there's this like overlap of the fact that this exists in multiple realms, in multiple places, at multiple times. And he says, well, Mari, I made a machine. I was a man with a dream, and I fell in love. And I made a machine. And the machine makes it so you can go to and fro as you wish, from plane to plane. No spells, no problems, no reservoir of magic needed, no waste, no inherent waste. Mortals love to waste. So I made something brilliant, genius, but it needed a lot of work. Crazy work, insane work that only a madman could do, a god. And I'm not a god. Not exactly. So I devised a machine. A beautiful machine. And he walks you up some steps, but it feels like you're walking downwards in a green color. And as he walks you down, you see a series of rings that are rotating over top of each other. A bunch of shifting, essentially like a Metatron cube of moving lights and whirling gizmos and gold and flashes, and it is going so fast it's almost difficult to see. And as it continues, it looks like the way your eye registers it, at one moment, you can see where it all lines up and creates this almost dome-like effect. But it's only for a split second. The rest of it is just whirling insanity. And then there's one moment where it goes, whoop, and it looks like one solid piece of gold dome before it recoalesces and forms into this crazy mechanical ball. And he shows you, and he says, this one was my favorite. And he shows you this weird gizmo, or this illusion of a weird gizmo. And he reaches his hand out, and he goes like he's going to touch, and he says, just kidding, that's suicide. And he looks back at you and he says, oh, you still look all shook up. I'm trying to explain this to you. What don't you get?
Any of it. What's a machine?
A technologically advanced, let's make it really, really small for you. They've been doing magic for a long time. I've taken that magic, I've rewinded that time, I've re-forwarded that time, and then I've rewinded that time. I've spun that time around 3,000 times to the span of an immortal life.
And
then I rewinded that time again. And then
I've been stuck in there.
No. You've been dead for a long time since I've made the machine, which is like many a lifetime for mortals. But it's not a problem, because you got here eventually, and I knew you would. You were just stuck in what I like to call the pin. It's like I don't know how to describe it to your brain, but basically it's like a piece of metal that was not sanded down all the way. It's not a problem. The machine still works. It's just, a hitch. A little bit of a hitch. But we fixed it. In the later variations, we fixed it completely. No more hitching. So it's not a problem. The continuum remains the same. And then you see as he's like, puts his hand on your shoulder as you're looking at this horrifying machine.
Yeah.
He watches as you start to like try and figure this out. And he says, "Oh God, let me make it simple for you." And he puts on this like crazy fast forward speed, like history for dummies in 5 seconds, which is basically like all of it names 1,000 different kings, it names 1,000 different queens, different lineages, all the different people that have ascended since the timeline of your timeline, the way that the Shatterkai grew up and made it to the material plane and then came back. He gives you this entire fucking rundown of Solemnly through the ages and fast forwards it directly to like your guys' part. And as he's at your guys' part, he says, and then cultists arrived, and then the cultists helped me make all the portals, and that's where you got jammed up, and so for that I'm sorry. But you can't help the puzzle pieces. It's all just had to work. And that's what it did. It worked.
So when he mentions the cultist, the same cultist that killed me or the cultist that worked with him to make these portals?
That sounds like a really abridged version. But yeah.
Cool. And it's not that I've been dead for thousands of years. I've been dead for thousands of kings.
You've been dead for thousands of kings, which is potentially more than thousands of years, because thousands of kings is like, how long do they live for?
Who knows?
Couple whiles.
But yeah,
and all of a sudden you feel your feet drop back at the rush and ballroom music and dancing and chaos of this place. You can feel your cheeks getting warm.
Like I'm blushing, or like
no, like just like flushing in the face from seeing so much.
Oh. And before we went over there, he said something about going back and killing the shadows. So I think Madi right now is stuck on 3 things. I've been dead for 1,000 fucking kings. The shadows won, and well, I'm not gonna let that happen. So, I don't know how long it's been for everybody else, but Madi kind of just looks up, probably at Aerith at this point, because she's the one talking about whether or not we're gonna do it, and she just says, "Whatever it takes."
I told you I picked the best one. Genius. Genius, it goes on. It's just the truth.
I think Lova is just like so mad. She doesn't want to say anything though, because she doesn't want to eat shit again.
Totally fair. I do apologize. I have to pee, so can we take a quick break? Is that cool with everybody? And then we'll come back in just a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. I drank too much coffee. Sorry, everyone.
Works for me.
We'll be like right back in just a minute. Like
That was nice. She might. We're back.
We're back?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're back. Welcome back. I'm so glad. Thanks for sticking
Hi back,
around.
I'm Dad.
Thanks for letting me pee.
It's a really long
Alright.
pee. She just got done peeing.
No, stop. I was done so quick. They were like, did you wash your hands? Of course I did. I don't pee long.
Okay.
I don't. I'm a quick pisser.
Listen,
Okay,
okay,
babe.
so
Bruh.
Reggie Gus and Marisol
Quick.
get back to the group, and Mari says she's in. Let's go.
Anyways, in Limbo.
It's fine.
We were in the Wood Chipper of Souls. We found out I didn't quite go all the way through. And that's why I kind of ended up in limbo for the lifespan of 1,000 monarchs. Here we are.
I think that's probably my favorite part too. You got to see it wasn't just kings, which is very fun. It was a series of different ruling queens, kings. Between the two of them, it looks like it lobbied for a while. That is something that's worth mentioning. If you ever study the history of Solemnly, I made it very diverse.
We didn't hear this conversation, did we? They walked off?
No, they walked off. They walked into they walked what looked like into a set of light staircase and then proceeded out of the room for a minute.
Okay.
And then did we walk back? We just teleported back, kind of.
You literally just reappeared in the spot that you were in. He was just doing that for the theatrics of explanation.
Nerd.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tiff.
Thoroughness. We just like a thorough man. Listen. So, as you appear with everyone and see everybody, I think, Kit, the one thing that's really rough for you is that you feel like this whole thing is kind of an invasion of privacy. For you, you are still looking around, and while everybody's in the process of explaining how their lives are going to go on and they're going to figure out some sort of trip back to for you, you're looking at video feedback directly from your eyesight, a huge invasion of privacy, and on top of that, Azeroth is so worried about having this conversation. He hasn't talked to you at all since you have come back. Not a hug, not a thank you, not a congrats for winning, nothing. Just stuck in a conversation with his family, wrapped up.
All right, I'm taking out the sandy point. You don't even have to say it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, great.
I do think that Kit is very overwhelmed by all of this. And maybe just a little bit shaky. And I think that she would very deliberately look away from Azeroth and look at Aerith and say, if I go with them, what happens to me?
Oh, fuck. That's super cool. Fuck. Give me 1 second to think and formulate how I would want to do this, because this is pivotal. So, I think in this moment, Aerith looks over at Azeroth and says, what happens to Kit if she decides to go on to the mortal realm? And Azeroth says, whoa, no, Kit doesn't have to go to the mortal realm. Kit can stay here with us. She doesn't have to go. That's your guys' thing. Kit won, so I was going to say that I made the decision that everybody go together, but that was besides the point.
I
Kit
thought if
doesn't
I
have
won,
to.
I got a choice.
Do you want to go? You don't want to go? You don't want to go?
Not the point.
If you go back to the mortal realm, one would presume that this is going to be scary, Kid. Are you sure you want me to tell you?
I get a choice.
The potentiality is very high that your body would just totally fall absent of the soul core that is currently being utilized to run and function all your organalities and insides. So if you were to return to the mortal realm and all of your soul currently is torrented as like small bits from all over, then I presume that all of those souls would finally go to rest and your body would not be anymore. But you might be able to not have that happen. It just depends on if you get like certain upgrades that we could totally do for you, but I need more time.
They would finally go to rest? Like I'm keeping them from it?
Oh, no, we just have to figure out. No, we're just. Currently, it's not complete, but that's just because data isn't complete. Look, you don't need anything to make you whole. You're fine as you are. We're just working on some different tech. It's gonna be. Who knows what discoveries we can have? It'll be great.
I'm fine.
I missed what you said. I'm so sorry.
I'm fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
I don't like this.
Yeah, how many insanity points do you currently have?
1.
Roll me a d20, please.
Okay.
Bink.
13.
Okay. Oh, shit, this one's so cute. 13 is one of my favorite numbers, so I made this one fun. All around you, the entirety of this area, in the middle of all of this dancing and chaos, and there's full-blown circus type shows that are going on in the background. You can hear the gnashing of beasts as Verena's trying to like hold on to them and still have this conversation. You see that the entirety of the expanse gets flowery and meadowy. It turns into like this big blooming, like middle of spring, like Switzerland proper fucking tulip fields flowery. Everything in here kind of starts to lull to a halt as these people were dancing and now they're like traipsing over flowers. The terrain's a little bit difficult. Your allies all feel a little boost of spring in their step, if you will, as they are now able to move at movement and a half. So difficult terrain for everybody else, and you guys can move fast. You basically got speed on you.
Oh yeah.
Or haste, I think they call it.
I want Lova to
Those are two
stand
very different things.
right next
Like
to Kit.
speed or haste and a half or two.
What'd
Pretty
you say?
different. I said speed and haste are two pretty different things. I don't know.
No, it's just speed and a half. It's just hastened.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Just to be sure.
Yeah.
Can I use this opportunity to go back and grab my dragon egg? Since Lova left it at the table.
Oh yeah. Oops.
Yeah. Are you gonna break away from everybody and head over towards the little circle table?
Yeah, they're all having crises. I'm gonna go grab my egg.
Okay.
I don't want to be a part of the crisis.
Love that for you.
Thanks.
Listen, since you're not using your crisis, can I use it? Because I think I kind of need it.
Yeah, of course. Anything
Okay.
to help you get through this, honestly.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We'll pick up with that in just a minute, babe.
Kit, is this conversation that you're having like away from the group or with everybody?
I think it started kind of in front of everybody, but I do think at this point she would look directly at Azzy and kind of just stare at him and not say anything else and see what he does.
Okay. And above table, like, he is manipulating you, right? Like, he's being kind of shitty.
Beats me.
Off the table, he comes across as, I care for you so much that I'm gonna put you in a cage so nobody hurts you and think I'm doing right by you. That's what it comes across to me. Like, I don't think there's any malicious intent, but there's definitely nasty repercussions as a part of it. It's like when you have like a glass child and you end up like stifling all their freedoms because you're like, well, if you go out in the world and you stub your toe, it's gonna ruin you forever, kind of a thing. So I don't think this is like, I'm gonna gaslight you until you stay here with me forever so you never leave because you're secretly an experiment. I think this is more like, ooh, I didn't make you to do that. You probably shouldn't do that. Here's all the reasons that you're actually not capable of doing anything without me ever, so please don't leave.
Yeah, I'm not secretly an experiment. I'm openly an experiment.
You know what?
He's like, you're a hypothesis at best.
It's okay. I was stuck in a hypothesis as a fundamental wood chip, so you know what?
Yeah, I think even
Hypothesisters now.
hypothesisters. I think very simple. She's not simple. I think very superficially minded Lova is like, I don't like that because I don't like how Kit comes off strong and then she's sort of like beaten down and it's like, okay. So I think Lova's like, currently Lova is situated between Umbriel and Kit and she's mad.
I feel like in this moment, Azeroth is just staring at Kit, staring at him for a reaction, and he starts to have a little bit of a meltdown. And he's like, "Look, Kit, I don't know what you were expecting. I didn't expect this to happen. I'm so thrilled that you exist. Now you exist, and I'm just trying to figure out what to do with it. You want to leave and you want to go hang out with your new friends, that's fine. Go have a life or whatever. But I made you thinking that you were going to be something and you ended up being something totally different. So if you're going to be looking at me for answers that I don't have, I'm sorry, I don't have them."
This is happening on like 100 cameras around us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not happening in 100 cameras around you. It's happening on two big fucking, like, jumbotron screens.
I think Kit would see all of this happening around her and feel very kind of unnerved by all of it, but also realizing that there's just nothing she can do to have any kind of a private moment at this time. So
will you roll me a d20, please?
8.
Oh, fuck. Okay, continue with what you were saying, and in a second I'll open something up.
I think she would ask him, "Why did you come here in person today?"
Well, Mom asked me to. at this moment as he says this, and it just being what I'd be right in presuming not exactly what you want to hear at this moment.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
in her head, he didn't come to dinner, he didn't come to see her, he didn't come to ask for her at all.
And now he didn't come to watch her win or any of that. Now he came because someone asked him to come.
Yes.
I need you to cast heat metal on yourself and double your damage.
I sure
Oh.
would love to do that.
As Kit has a meltdown proper. The internal functions, the core that is inside of your chest, you can feel what is like almost like a heartbeat beating up, and you start to short circuit on the inside. You can feel all of the mechanics and machinery and the bio that it holds all of this together, this like bio robotic inside core that makes you beat. It starts to feel like it's fritzing, like it's spinning off of its axis, or something here is happening that is like a seriously triggered response. And you feel like the inside of your chest is burning, like you want to rip your fucking porcelain plates off. Like it is so hot on the inside of your body that you're not quite sure what to do with yourself. And you take physical damage.
Am I doubling the damage dice, or am I rolling the right amount of dice and then doubling that?
You're rolling the right amount of dice and then you're doubling that.
Okay. Whew. 30.
Does it not? That doesn't knock you out, right?
No.
Okay. All of you can see as this Kit receives this information, you can see that there's like steam and sparks and like active short circuiting happening underneath the parts of her body. All of the like little blue lights that keep her turned on, that like normally have that like dull glow underneath her plating, begin to like flicker and fritz. They glow a little bit brighter. Some of them look like they're shorting out in different areas on the body. And you can see that she is in pain, like there's something going wrong inside of her chest. Azeroth immediately runs over and he's like, Kit, oh no, I hate this. And he starts to, without asking, pulling open like parts of your machinery to try and help you.
I think Kit would scream.
Okay.
I want to feel free if this is not kosher, but I would like to, Lova would like to grab his shoulder and literally yank him all the way back.
Okay.
Like,
yeah,
all that pent up rage from before was like.
Roll me a strength check.
Okay.
Like to
Strength.
occupy the space that Lova is so very nicely clearing for me.
Hell yeah. 17.
You like a wet noodle this kid. You fucking rip him back with like such a force that it borders on like too much. But given the fact that Kit is crying in pain, it's like it's an immediate rip away from the situation. But you hacky sack this kid essentially across the fucking room. He is like, "What are you doing? You have to take the porcelain off, or she's gonna die." And you see that he is like actively freaking out and trying to run back to Kit to stop this from happening. Verena is closing the distance between you and her brother very, very quickly. Aerith reaches her hand out and stops Verena in place. So you see Verena is like holding onto a chained fucking meat beast animal and starts to like forward stomp towards you like she's gonna come fuck you up. And Aerith freezes her in spot, so she gets yanked and the dog is at the chain now, yanked, and is kind of like gnashing in the general vicinity. You can see that Reshi's like, oh, like just relishing in the chaos of it all, like laughing and being like, this is crazy. You can see Ryu is panicked He looks really like this is stressing him out. He's wild-eyed and frenzied.
Which of us one of us has like is more of a clerical support like medical person. Who is that? Yes, that's what I thought. Okay. I think as he starts to charge me again, I'm gonna like shove like strong arm my hand and like grab his shirt and like lift him up to my face, and I'm gonna say, "We can handle this. You do not touch her." And then I like look back and I say, "Umbriel, go check on her," and I'm gonna like drop him to the ground.
Okay. As soon as you let him go, you feel like there is like cement shoes on you. You can feel like your legs are locked in place. You still have mobility of your top part of your torso, but she's like army soldiered your ass to the ground real quick.
I want to take a fucking pop shot with Miranda and just like swing around to like, I don't even care if it misses. I'm just like, fuck that bitch.
Yeah, dude.
I think because Lova's like in the situation where she knows what it's like to have been put their hands on people without asking, and that's what she's reacting to.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. I too have been enraged for that reason. So, you see, Azeroth is wily. It's surprising because his demeanor typically is not that of anything that is like nearly as wild as anybody else in this family. The only other person that kind of matches his mellow is Esmeralda, but in this moment he looks frenzied as he is trying to like rip towards Kit to try and help her. After you pick him up and hold him and then kind of get army solid to the ground, you can see that as Umbriel turns to head for him, Aerith puts a buffer in between the two of you, and you feel this like sense of calm rush over you. Esmeralda stepping into the center of the room and casting calm emotions as it washes over all of you. You can feel your tempers kind of. You can see the series of frustrated kind of arcing of his eyebrows untense as he's like, please, just go help her. And as Umbriel moves over towards Kit, you can see that Aerith is like, she's got this. Don't worry. Towards Azeroth. And Azeroth is just like, looks at his mom and kind of like ceases. He like just automatically like links back a little bit. Umbriel, as you approach Kit and they are hurting, you have another flash of your memories return to you. You see the panicked look of somebody who is in severe pain, kind of backing up a little bit from you, and it triggers a feeling of unsettled and sorrow that you haven't felt in a long time. Trigger warning coming up for those in regards to self-harm. So, look out. You reach out your hands to administer healing magic, and you can feel the dull ache in your arms from your attempted wrist cut. You feel the tingling sensation of like a numb hand. And you can see as Kit looks frenzied and afraid, you remember a moment of snapping, of taking a totally. The dagger itself that you remember is carved of selenite. It is this strange stick of smooth clear, and you just remember plunging it into his chest maybe 4 times, 5 times, 10 times.
Who
Don't
knows?
remember.
All blur.
And then you remember sitting in the tub and crying and just losing it because you recognize that this meant freedom from that life, but also meant that you were trapped with that going forward. And feeling lost. It's really frustrating, I think. It's a really sad and frustrating feeling of only knowing this one partner and this one way of life to feeling like you are alone in it all. And to struggle with the depth of like what that truly means for you moving forward as somebody who had been cast out from their family. When you don't have anyone to return to and no one to help you build the life that you were building, you feel kind of like the rug is pulled out from under you. And as you go to cast your magic, you feel the kind of wound that is sitting there emotionally begin to stitch itself up. What type of healing spell do you administer to Kit?
Okay, so question first.
Yeah.
If I cast a concentration, can I also cast a bonus action behind it?
Does the bonus action require concentration?
No.
Then no. Then yes, you can cast something that has concentration.
Fucking tastic. Okay. So, main action, we are casting Beacon of Hope.
Hell yeah.
So, for okay, there it is. So for the entire group, we all get advantage on wisdom saving throws and death saving throws, as well as we regain the maximum number of hit points from any sort of healing that we get.
Oh, go off, bitch.
And as a bonus action, I am using Healing Word.
Hell yeah.
So,
ooh, we love to see it.
right?
That's like take a D4 and turn it into a D forever.
Right.
Max healing, that's hell yeah. That's
Hell
bang.
yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. Maybe
So
that spell.
Kit is going to get D4 plus my modifier, which is 2, so we're at 6.
6 healing points turns to maximum health as you feel this wash over you. Kit, without even touching you, Umbriel is able to soothe the burning that is in your chest, showing you that it is possible for you to solve some of these malfunctions without having to feel like you are being intruded upon. It's just not been done for you before.
So, Kit's been a little, like, in a bad way. I think that, where a human might have, like, crumbled in pain, she's sort of, like, Tin Man locked. Like, straight and, like, all joints locked and straight. And when Azzy tried to pull the porcelain away, I think what started as like cry of pain probably turned into more of like a mechanical alarm wail. And as she receives this healing from Umbriel, it would kind of just fade out. And eventually I sort of believe that she would probably lose consciousness for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. This, not for anything other than the organic shock of feeling publicly humiliated and then having like somebody have to rush to your aid, you lose consciousness for just a moment. And in that, you have yourself a weird memory. This warmth, this weird radiating touch, this air of purple and green magic that washes over you. And they say, you know, healing, it comes from the areas of death as well. So it's important that you pay attention to healing magic, because it deals with necromancy just as much. And then the accent feels very familiar. This voice feels familiar. All of these little pieces of this feel like you are having this organic memory of life, and you feel the healing wash over you. And then he says, there you are, all better. And you see the face of this very soft, gray-skinned man. He has kind of darker lips, almost like if he was wearing black lipstick, but it's just his skin tone. He has pupilless black eyes, jet black hair that's kind of pulled up into this, like, up into the side, but it's in a little man bun. A tiniest little bit of stubble that's just cruxing along the side of his chin. Very dappled in there, like a 5 o'clock shadow kind of look. And a beautiful smile, and he says, go on, sit up. You see the memory fades from you, and you don't know where you were, what that was about, who the fuck that dude was. Like, you, in your actual conscious state, you're like, what the fuck kind of dream is that? But you are up and you have your faculties.
Do I know where I am, like, within the castle area?
Yes, you are in the entertainment / dining hallway. It would be, like basement level, if that makes sense. It's their big, huge, like the whole bottom half of the castle, it's like open floor plan basically in the basement portion for this type of hallway, that has this huge branch off that's a big dining hall.
I think it would run.
Okay, hell yeah. Fuck yeah. Do it. Beat feet.
Yeah, she's just leaving the room, going wherever her muscle memory takes her at this point.
Okay. Verena, even after the calm emotions, is like, this is fucking bullshit. I mean, I'm not gonna do anything, but let me tell you, I would have fucking killed that girl. As you run, you continue to see a series of, I feel like down here is very much tailored to be entertainment area. So the hallway is like a grandiose long hall. There's a series of lots of little benches and stuff like that along the sides. Almost like a wedding venue-esque type setting. And there's a grand staircase that leads up to the main floor that is the general central area of the castle. So I feel like your feet probably carry you up into the center before you kind of rectify where you are and figure out, like, to stop moving.
Yeah, I think once she has more of like an idea of what's around her, I think probably even just at the top of the stairs, after just getting away for a minute, I think she'd just sit on the stairs and just head in hands, just sit.
Understood. I'm going to pause at this moment. We're going to jump over to Manya making her way over to the circular table.
Hey, Kayla.
Yeah.
When Manya walks away, can Dahlia follow her?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Hell yeah. Please do. Anybody else want to go to circular table whiles? Just so that way I know and I can pull it up? Or are you staying and talking with the royal family still?
Staying.
Hell yeah. Okay. As Manya and Dahlia continue to walk together, make their way across, you do hear this commotion that happens with Kit, and see kind of off in a little bit of a distance from the table, like, shit's popping off over there. but they seem to have it under control in a matter of minutes. Like 1 minute they're screaming and wailing and siren noises, in 3 seconds there's some yelling, then it all just falls quiet for a second, and Kit runs out of the room.
I want to have Delia have like seen her leave and then catch up with her and fall into step beside her, and I'll just look at her and say, "You're quiet. What are you thinking?"
Well, my head isn't filled with very many thoughts just yet.
No? What do you think about doing a trial?
Well, during the trial, I was thinking about how you looked very different. And then now I'm thinking about going to get the egg because Lova left it.
Are you going to join us and do the journey?
I don't know. I mean, we've all known each other for what? 2.5 days? And I think I've watched that doll have 5 tantrums? And it seems like a lot.
It would be a handful, but it seems the only other option is to stay here in the circus. Do you want that?
Do you think they'll give me an instrument again?
Maybe.
I might stay for an instrument.
If I find you an instrument, would you come along with me?
We could discuss it. You tend to take words and twist them a little bit. It's a fun little thing about you.
Well, I'm mostly honest. 80% of the time.
If you can bump that up to 92% of the time with me and get me an instrument, perhaps we can talk.
Okay. Deal.
Deal.
You show up at the table, and you see the woman sitting with the blindfold there, shuffling the cards. As you approach, she says, "I've been waiting for you. Are you ready now?"
For me?
To which of us does she say that?
She has a blindfold on, hard to discern.
Well, I was just coming for this egg, but I suppose. What do you want?
You don't have to play coy, Manya. I know what lies in the future for you. Do you worry about making this decision? Do you think you belong here?
In hell? Oh, absolutely.
She pulls a card off of the top of the deck and looks at it and puts it face down and says, "Well, would you like to know?"
Wait, what did she say? Did she say, what do you want to know?
She
or...
said, "Well, would you like to know?"
Oh. I suppose.
Cool. All right. You see the card that she had pulled from the top of the deck and looked at and placed face down for you. She flips it over for you. Sitting on the card is a harpy. She sits upon a pile of bones. This is basically just describing what the card looks like first, and then I'll tell you what she says about it. The harpy is beautiful and scary all at the same time. You can see breasts exposed and tearing into like a piece of flesh with her foot off of a like fresh carcass. But the rest of the bones here have been picked clean. It looks like this is her most recent find or whatever, and she's in the process of picking the looks like almost like a mole with this like long hooked beak and these two claws for hands, and it's in the process of eating this thing.
Does the harpy look similar to me? Or familiar, I mean?
Roll a perception check.
I got an 18 on the dice. Do you want me to add my modifiers?
Yes, please.
Okay. 25.
Hell yeah, brother. The harpy sits on the bones, looks incredibly familiar. You can't say for sure if it is the same one that you had made yourself familiar with, but you notice that the scenery all kind of looks similar. It is definitely invoking a feeling of familiarity with that high of a roll.
Okay.
She says to you, the harpy sits on a pile of bones and it knows exactly what it wants and exactly how to get it, but it just gives itself away. Singing away its disgusting lullabies, it's going to lure in anyone who gets lost to the rhythm. And she looks over at Dahlia. Giving into passion for you can be dangerous as you rattle against your confines. There's a song within you that burns to come out, and you shouldn't let it. This Hakor's mind is insulated from impact, and yet he falls to you. Will the tongues that wrap around you be your protection, or will you lose yourself to the hunger?
Well, she didn't have to read the rights. Did not have to read the rights. I think she is looking expectantly. Like she is like blinking, like kind of like looking at her like, uh-huh.
Well, there's someone you care for. That matters unresolved. Be ashamed to sit here and waste away, wouldn't it?
Well,
And you. She looks over at you, Dahlia. What was that?
I think that she was just going to ask if she was going to give her memories back or what, because she's like, I don't know anything.
You just are looking at the card deck and the familiarity is striking to you, and it still feels hazy for you. And I feel like that in its own right feels frustrating, like you are just trying to break through this wall of smoke and mirrors, trying to figure out what the fuck that even means and why it looks so familiar. But nothing comes to you. Looking at you, Dahlia, she says, and what about you, the devoted? What would you like? Do you want to know?
I'd like to know. Yes, ma'am.
She puts the card that was Manya's card on the bottom of the deck, and you watch as she like lifts all of the cards up to do this like long shuffle, and the cards magically come from the bottom of the deck and pile onto the top without her touching them. She waves a finger like this a couple of different times and pulls out it's a kitsune. It sits, this white fox with many tails is kind of standing in the middle of a river. You can see that it is like staring down at its own reflection in this river, and in the river underneath of the water there seems to be a drowned fox on the like of the same exact variety, just kind of bones and a little bit of fur and like wet and damp. And it sits on top of this, but it looks so serene, and the water is very still. You can see the reflection of the fox on the surface. You can just also see through it and down to the bottom of the mud where there is obviously a carcass. And it says, or she says to you, you understand the importance of subtlety. You seek stability and foundation, but you shift like the sands. Just like this kitsune, you appear in all forms, but you're never what you seem. Be a frail man or a strapping lad, you're bound to be disappointed. You must learn when to speak out and when's better to blend in. Know your place. There's a time for a shift in your perspective, and it feels like it's been soon. So she flips the card back over and she says, you already know your path. There's no need for you to receive direction.
I know my path? The one the goddess laid out for me?
Precisely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She smiles at you and takes the card and cuts it into the center of the deck. She says, for your travels, and she slides you both 2 pieces of gold across the table. One small coin with a square center to you, each. And she says, may your journey be fruitful.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, I'm glad you know your path.
You could come along it too.
Well, I want my memories back first.
I'd suggest we ask the goddess again, but that didn't go well the last time we went together to her.
Yes, but I have a gift this time. And she, like, grabs the egg and she shows it to you. It is a dragon egg. Perhaps she'll like me if I give it to her.
It's worth a shot.
As you touch on the egg, wait, let me rephrase that. Do you touch the egg?
Yeah, I like grabbed it. I'm like coddling it.
Okay. When you touch it, I need you to roll me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay.
Hope it's good. Dahlia, I will allow you to give her help in this moment if you would like to give her advantage.
Yeah, I'll help.
Oh no, drop the egg, make an omelet.
I get to roll with advantage since she helped me?
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool. That's great. It's better. It's better. 9. Please don't make me kill the egg.
I didn't make you do anything.
Omelet time.
You feel this hunger in you that feels insatiable, like this obsessive have to. I don't know if any of you have ever struggled with OCD before, but I haven't. It is so impossible sometimes. And there's this need that comes over you to, like, I bite my nails, that's my obsessive thing. There's this need that feels like if you can't do this thing, that you are going, like, that everything's going to be thrown off for the rest of forever. You have this feeling of absolute dread come over you, and you feel in your heart that you should give this egg to Ryu.
Oh. Okay. Dahlia, I think you see her kind of like do a little pout. I think that her pout has like she does 2 tiny stomps and like starts just like to do like the little pouty lip, and you can tell that she is just like cursing in her head, like something is like, damn it. And like finally she's like, I think I have to go give it to the slightly less weird boy instead.
Not slightly less weird boy. Jeez.
Oh, well.
My kids get a bad
That
rap.
still might get you the goddess's favor. She loves her kids.
I guess. She's pouting. She's so upset about this. I think that she even like just starts to like hug the egg a little bit more and completely ignoring everyone. She does not care what is going on over with everyone else and just starts to like walk towards Ryu.
As you are walking towards him, you have this moment and lapse in judgment where you feel like a pull inside of yourself, like something's wrong, and you can just hear it over and over again. I feel like I have to give this to Ryu. I feel like I have to give this to Ryu. If I don't give this to Ryu, something's going to go wrong. Something is going to go terribly wrong. And you're like, why? Why am I doing this? I don't really even want to do this, but you still feel that pull. It's almost like an incessant, like thought that just won't ease up. And until you do this, you're not entirely sure. You're not sure why, but you're not. You feel like everything's gonna be wrong if he doesn't have. As you continue to walk forward with this egg, Reshi is going to stand in front of you and say, "What is that?"
An egg? What does it look like to you?
Where did you get that?
Does it matter? It's not for you.
Who is it for?
The less weird one.
No. That can't be right.
And she goes to open her mouth because she's going to say, well, my head said so, but then she like stops because she's like, that's weird.
He would be waiting for you to continue to speak and watching for the pauses on you.
Well, it's his. I don't know.
Go give it to my wife.
I don't know if I
Go
can.
give it to my wife.
Do I still feel the need to give it to Ryu?
Yeah, there's this weird, like, oh, I know I shouldn't. I feel like I shouldn't, but I feel like I have to, but I feel like I shouldn't. This weird, continuous narrative in your brain of this, I feel like I shouldn't. I know what my plans were, but...
I think that she starts to get a little frustrated. I can't give it to your wife. I have to give it to your son.
I will not repeat myself, Siren. Give it to my wife, or I will take it from you.
It won't let me.
And I think that Reshi would look over at Dahlia for an explanation.
I'm looking at Manya curiously. I'm like, come on, just give it give it to somebody. Yeah, I'm looking at you. I'm like looking at you like you're crazy. I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you mean?
Well, I don't know. I have to give it to him.
And I'll turn to Reshi. I'm like, Your Highness, why don't you take the egg? It seems it's a little challenging.
Do I get aggressive? Do I get aggressive with the egg?
Make me another Constitution saving throw, actually.
Okay.
It's a good idea.
I don't think guidance would do anything. That's just ability checks, right? That's not saving throw.
Well, that is just an 8.
Just an 8.
Mm-hmm.
You are feeling like if he takes this from you, something is gonna go terribly wrong. You have this like horrible, like recurring, aggressive kind of thought that's like, no, that can't happen. If we don't do this, this is going to go wrong. If you've ever had a hangnail and you bite your nails with OCD, This is my nightmare. This is Kayla's hell. Welcome.
She like backs up a little bit. You don't understand. I have to do this.
I think that you feel a tugging at the corner of your mind as you feel magic take over. You have to look something up. Hold on, I have to make sure that I do this spell correctly so it's not wrong.
What spell is it? I can help you.
I'm doing it.
Okay. But I can help.
I know. But I can read.
That's fair. I can't.
Back in my day, we didn't have written languages.
He looks at you and his eyes lock with yours, and then he looks at Dahlia and he speaks with a certainty that just cuts through the air, and he says, approach. And you feel your feet start to move forward as he commands you to come.
Which one of us?
It's at a higher level, so you can cast it on more than one creature if it's above the first level. So, both of you. He's commanding you both to approach him. He's like, no, we're not playing this fucking game. Come here.
She's walking, but she's protesting. No.
Do you allow him to touch you? Like, I know that he had told you to approach. Do you allow him to touch you?
No, she would smack his hand away. Not after the clothes situation.
We're gonna fuck.
No. No.
You watch as you try to push his hand away and your arms are filled with this egg. And as you do, the way that he grabs you and approaches you is less, it seems like he was cool to just try and grab it from you before, but the fact that you're like, well, even after approaching, he is on some like, I'm getting this shit. So he grabs onto both sides of the egg. So you have it on either side, on the sides as you're holding it, because it's a little heavy. He grabs it top and bottom, from behind you. Like, he like swoops in with one arm, comes around the back and grabs it with the other arm, and just like trying to wrench it over your shoulder now, essentially. And as he does so,
Can I
you
Misty
see
step?
him. Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's just gonna Misty step behind him.
Where? Into the crowd? Closer to the table? Closer to the royal family? Where are you going?
No, I think that she's just playing with him at this point now, so it's like directly behind him.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
You Misty step behind him, and you feel immediately Aerith on your shoulder.
Oh, man. Fuck, not again.
And she says, excuse me, I believe he gave you a command.
I don't want him to rip my clothes again.
Give it to me, darling.
I'd really have to give it to the less weird one.
I know you think that. And you feel this weird sensation where that like, I have to do this pauses for a second, and you feel like the physical manifestation of like something wrapping itself around you, like a snake or something long and flexible, and you're like start to get cramped in on yourself, and then you feel it being like pulled off of you, and you have this like moment of clarity, and she's like, pass it here.
How did you do that?
You're being beguiled.
Well, I don't think I know what that means. I mean, I know what the meaning of the word is, but I'm not following.
Something is tricking you. Give it to me.
I think that she's still hugging it, but she she is also terrified of Aerith.
I'm gonna elbow you in the side. Like, give it to her.
Okay, jeez,
Give it over,
jeez,
dude. Give
jeez.
it over.
And she like slowly starts to hand it to her, and she's like, "Okay, I guess you can have it. Here you go. It is a gift after all."
She takes it from you and she starts to examine it.
It is a dragon egg.
I know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you obtain it?
Oh, I stole it.
Okay.
Yep.
From where?
Oh, ah. Such a great question. It was in the room. It was a very cold room with a bunch of other eggs, and I decided that this one.
Many other.
Maybe like 6.
Okay.
I didn't count.
Okay. Did I tell you to bring this back to me?
No, but it just seemed like the better option.
Reshi looks at her and she looks at him, and they obviously have some sort of wordless communication that you guys pick up on because they just stare at each other for quite a second. And then she says, "And you wanted to give this to Ryu? Why?"
I don't know.
Oh, troubling. You can see her look over at Reshi, and Reshi takes the egg from her and just walks off. There's no further discussion about it. He outwardly takes it from her and walks off.
Well, I was trying to earn some brownie points, but I got a little weird there.
Your Majesty, surely, this is a sign of goodwill and forgiveness for our mistake earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. You have a penchant for getting your hands on things you shouldn't, dear.
They just kind of, they're just there.
A question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the agreements of which you've signed?
What did I sign?
Oh. Well, I do have to let you know that your soul is promised to come back when you return to the material realm, but it may be forfeit. So just keep that in mind in your travels.
What do you mean?
I mean that upon you returning, it's very likely that you owe this now to someone else. And to be quite clear, I'm surprised you haven't had them collect on it already, but it seems that while you're here, you're all right.
You mean, and she like points to her head.
Oh, yes.
She's taking a second to think. She is like, she's thinking. She's like, I don't even have my memories. And now I don't even have a soul.
As she says this, and you have that momentary grip that gets loosened, you do have a series of memories that do flood back to you. You're thinking very specifically now of walking into that library. Because that's the only way that you are. And then you think about that dagger, and you remember the fact that that was like another circumstance that felt like maybe, but not it. And your brain finally puts the pieces together. That you've had this passenger for a long time. Much longer than you had initially anticipated.
So, like, since the library?
Since the library.
Oh, jeez.
And it floods into you, this feeling of like, uh-oh, mistakes were made.
Oh, perhaps I should not have opened that book.
What book?
Well, I wish I could tell you more, but I don't really have my memories.
Oh. How interesting. Maybe you and I can work something out in the future. I'll have to think on
it. Can I have my memories?
I can't give you those. I am not the one who took them away. I've already returned your memories to you.
Oh. Dahlia, she's visibly disappointed. Your goddess just disappointed her. Gosh.
I think Aerith looks concerned that you don't have your memories. I think as you say that you don't have them and ask for them back, she's like, what? Like, you are watching someone mask not having all of the information. If that makes sense. Like, oh, yeah. Wait, what do you mean you don't have all your memories? So, it seems like she's supposed to, like, know all. But there seems to be some missing pieces here that she does not have.
I think that she looks at you, Dahlia, and like kind of like raises her brow. In your head, you just hear, "This is bullshit."
Your Majesty, is there any aid you can give her?
I mean, I can try. You see as she puts both hands on the side of your head and closes her eyes, she begins to kind of peer into your mind and tries to scry, and is trying to scry into the past of your memories. And she starts to, you watch as she like begins to shift uncomfortably as she's doing this. And you feel little pieces of memories slipping back, but fragmented and very much like any film depiction of like a manic mode of like multiple images at the same time kind of rushing in, all scattered, not congruent, all over the place. And you can hear like your dad yelling at you from the past, and like kind of that is like one of the main things is like you just hear constant berating from like your father's voice, and then you also hear like go on, open the book. And then you hear like your sisters saying, you really shouldn't be out of your room past this time, and you're definitely not supposed to be in here. And then you can hear multiple different like exchanges, and it's just flickering of black, and then you see the book on the pedestal opening up, and the scribble whirlwind of the diagram that was on the front page that you had seen and you feel Aerith push you away as soon as she sees it. She does like a, almost like she was like cradling your head before, and then she does like a, oh, and she says, I'm sorry. I don't know if I can help you out of this one.
Do you know anyone who can?
You won't be happy to see you after the stunt you've just pulled. You're going to want to speak to Mother. And that is where we will end tonight's session. Thank you guys so much for joining us and for coming back in after our little hiatus. We are so glad that you are here. We love you so very much, and I hope you have a good rest of your evening. Check out again Modern Artifice with that 10% off code, and get yourself some fancy jazzy new prices and dices because you deserve them. Have a good rest of your evening, and thank you again